In Riyadh, joining us today is Jack Hidary, CEO, SandboxAQ. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. And before we talk to him about how he's using AI to help solve some of the biggest problems of the world, let's tell you a little bit about the interesting India connection that he's got. So tell us a little bit about your India connection.
I was very blessed to be able to spend a lot of time in India. I got to know Ratan Tata. And a wonderful man. Of course, we lost him recently, and we remember his life in a very, very positive way. I got to know him. He invited me to come to India to understand how we can help the Tata companies to digitize, to adopt the future. And I had the privilege of living in Bandra West for some time and traveling around almost the entire India, which is a big country, to visit so many Tata companies. TCS, of course, Tata Power, Tanish, Titan, so many companies in the south making plates, making tea. People don't realize, I think, around the world how many companies there are in Tata. But it's a wonderful thing. And it's not just the number of companies, not just the business, from power to consumer goods to telecommunications and others. And now cars as well. Let's not forget cars and Jaguar and many other automotive areas. But also the values of the company. And I was privileged to serve as senior advisor to the leadership at Tata for those years, and really learned a lot about the culture, the values in terms of integrity, focusing on what is the reputation of the company, what is the promise to the consumer. So many people are touched every day in India by a Tata brand, and now around the world as well. And so it's something that really, really touched me, and it inspired me in SandboxAQ and my own companies to take on these kinds of values as well.
One thing that you learned from Mr. Ratan Tata as a business leader, something that you also now follow in your company?
I would say number one with Ratan was integrity, and number two, I would say equal to that, was his philanthropy and thinking about society as a whole. Not just thinking about his businesses, but thinking as a society. I had the chance to visit a number of institutes founded by the Tata family over the years, institutes dedicated to science, to discovery, to hospitals, helping the world. These are nonprofit institutes that the Tata family started. So very inspired by the integrity and the philanthropy.
Interesting. Now, let us talk to you a little bit about AI. You're trying to use AI to help the world solve the problems of tomorrow for India. Which are the areas that, according to you, stand to benefit with the right usage of AI?
Well, I think that most people are familiar with, of course, large language models, and those are very exciting. And India is a country with more than 600 dialects and individual languages. It's an incredibly diverse and rich set of languages. So certainly large language models are going to be great for India to take what we're saying here today right now as an example, put it in 600 languages, wonderful usage for media. But there's even deeper applications and implications of AI for a country like India. And this is not just large language models, but large quantitative models, LQMs, not just LLMs. What can LQMs do, Hina? LQMs can take us for new drug discovery. There are many, many diseases that all around the world we face. We think about cancer. We think about neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and others. Diabetes is a major issue, major challenge in countries like India and around the world. So I think that by using large quantitative models, models that are not trained on words from the internet, but models trained on chemistry, on biology, on pharmacology, on toxicology, these are fascinating areas. And I would encourage young people in India today to think about pursuing these LQMs, not just LLMs.
You know, here at this particular conference, we had Elon Musk also joining, and he has in fact said that AI can be a significant existential threat. While we are talking about benefits of AI, there are concerns too. How will you like to respond?
Like any technology, there's potential for positive and also potential for negative impact. I think AI is one of the things that now everyone is very aware of. I think everyone's taking due care. Governments are talking about it here at FII. We've talked a lot about both those aspects of AI. And I think that we now really to bring out what are the real practical implications of AI. We talked about biopharma, but also energy. India is a country hungry for energy. India is a country that's growing. It has one of the best growth economies right now in the world. And so how do we put more renewable energy into India? Solar, wind, but not just creating the energy. Where do we store the energy? And so using LQMs for battery technology, as an example, is something I'd love to see India take part in.
Super. And It was wonderful to talk to you about how India has inspired you. Before we wind up this discussion, did you manage to also learn any language while you were in India? Anything that you would like to say in Hindi?
I did pick up a few words. One of my favorite Hindi words is jugaad. And jugaad has this beautiful aspect of making the best of a difficult situation, figuring out with what you have at hand. In America, we talk about MacGyver, a famous show where the MacGyver, the main character, would just figure out something to do to solve the problem. Problem solving under pressure is one of the things that India does best. And I think jugaad exemplifies that. And also, when I think of India, I also think of great achievements. Bose was one of the physicists who got the Nobel Prize from India, and Ramanujan, my number one favorite mathematician in all of mathematical recent history, is somebody, of course, came from the Chennai region and then came to Cambridge, contributed tremendously to that world, and came back and unfortunately passed away too early at the young age of about 30 from tuberculosis. And we think about all the contributions that Ramanujan had. One of my goals, one of my dreams, is to make sure we digitize all of Ramanujan's works. Some of it's already digitized in the Trinity Library in Cambridge University in England, but I'd love to make sure we digitize everything. So anyone hearing us right now on this broadcast, if you have access to any content from Ramanujan in the various universities and others in the Chennai region, we'd love to work together to make sure we digitize every one of his pieces of work.
Well, I can say, that's like being a true businessman and using jugaad properly. Use this platform to make a marketing pitch also, a business pitch. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much.
Great to see you, Hina.
In Riyadh with video journalist Gopal, this is Hina Gambhir for Times Now.